How has a beautiful friendship between two men who have known each other for decades become a controversy? I'm talking today about the friendship between Mohanlal and Mammootty, two big superstars in their own right, and the fact that their friendship is no secret. They have been friends for decades and decades and decades. And yet, when Mohanlal prays for Mammootty, his friend who was unwell, it becomes a controversy. Why and how? I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. On the program today, we try and understand why Mohanlal's prayers offered at the Sabarimala shrine have become somewhat of a controversy. Is it a controversy that should be addressed, or is it a controversy that should be ignored? The controversy erupted after a leaked receipt from the Sabarimala shrine went viral on social media. Now, it transpired that Mohanlal had offered prayers for his closest friend, Mammootty. Mammootty, it has been revealed for those who don't know, is Muslim by faith. So here was a Hindu man praying for his Muslim friend at the Sabarimala shrine. I don't understand what the controversy is, but it seems to have stirred a controversy and a certain degree of debate in both communities. Is nothing to be sacred? Is friendship also to be drawn into these kind of wrangles? Javed Akhtar was among the leading lights who stepped onto social media and asked quote unquote petty people to leave the two friends alone. Mohanlal finally did issue a statement saying, "This is a personal matter." His co star said, "These kind of prayers have been offered by Mohanlal often in the past. It's just that this time the news leaked." How do we understand what this headline is about? Let me introduce our guest today as we look at what should have been just an expression of friendship that seems to have run into some sort of controversy over faith. Joining me now is Islamic scholar and analyst Atiq Rehman. Good to see you, Atiq Saab. Also joining me is Dushyant Sridhar, one of our best-known authors and Vedic scholars and speakers. Namaskar and good to see you. And also joining us is Rahul Eashwar. Rahul and I have in the past argued a lot over the entry of women of a certain age, menstruating women at the Sabarimala shrine. Now Sabarimala is back in the headlines, and I wonder what Rahul's take is this time. So welcome all of you to the program. I want to start with you, Dushyant. I'll start with you. Do you think that this is worthy of a controversy? And I ask this genuinely. There could be something here I don't understand. This could be an issue that has been hijacked by people who have nothing better to do. And I'm genuinely here because I don't, I'm not very religious, though I'm God-fearing and not religious. I want to understand, is this a matter of controversy when it comes to religion? What do you think?
Namaskaram, Barkha, and namaskaram to all my fellow panelists. At the outset, Malayalam movie industry has produced beautiful movies, and the two lead actors you're speaking about, both Sri Mohanlal and Sri Mammootty, have captured the minds and the hearts of the audiences for over 40 years now. That said, there is a religion matter which is around this controversy, and Sabarimala happens to be a very, very revered sthalam for devotees of Ayyappa, just not in Kerala, but in other Pradeshams as well. And Mammootty, from the reports that I read, when he's unwell, his friend Mohanlal, who is a practicing Hindu, offers prayers at this Sabarimala temple. First of all, how this news got out, when it's a very personal connection, because when you do a archana, when you do a special puja, it is known only to the priest who does it. I do not know how far it's spread, point number one. And point number two, even if it's spread, it shouldn't create something negative. It is a positive one. A friend praying for another friend is as simple as that. Though I am a very proud practicing Hindu, I am religious, I am spiritual, but I don't see any problem at all in this. Whoever has created probably those fringe elements may have wanted to follow every word of what is there in probably the religious. This is my take of Islam, that you cannot pray to the any other deity but Allah, and there is a creator and the creation. You'll have to pray only to the creator and not the creation. Even if Mohanlal has done that knowingly or unknowingly, what he has done for Mammootty is wrong. So that's their take. I don't subscribe even to 1% of it, because it's Mohanlal's intent that his friend should get well, and it's his belief that he's doing it. So nobody should stop him and nobody can question him. As simple as that.
I think you've said it very well, and that's why I'm genuinely puzzled. What is the controversy here? Yes, you can ask who leaked this news because faith is personal, it is private. Sorry, Dushyant, you're trying to say something?
So there is a nice movie called Empuraan of Mohanlal, which just got released.
Yes.
So you need good and bad controversies for movies to work
But
with.
Mohanlal is hardly at the stage in his life where he needs that kind of PR blitz. Mohanlal is a superstar. But
True,
who knows?
true,
That's a
true.
cynical
Yeah.
take. Is it publicity? As they say, no publicity is bad publicity. But Atiq or Rehman Saab, would you agree with what Dushyant ji has said? That what is the controversy here? A practicing Hindu has gone to a place where he often offers prayers, a place of worship for him, a place of sanctity for him, and offered prayers for his friend who happens to be Muslim. Now, we have seen some former newspaper editors in Kerala, one or two of them, not a big response, I have to say, raise some sort of controversy here. What do you say?
Thank you, Dushyant. Dushyant, I echo your point. Barkha, there is absolutely no controversy, and people who are objecting to this particular episode, I hope they are, taking advantage of the Quran and the Islamic text and saying that Allah does not permit this. So, if you, with your kind permission, Barkha, I would like to step in with all the Quranic verses wherein Allah is absolutely clear that unless and until His own image is not aligned with anybody, Allah has absolutely no problem. A friend, a non-believer, a believer in other faith can pray for me. I can pray for him or her, and Allah and Quran does not have any objections to this.
And you believe that the people who are raising this as a controversy are misrepresenting the Quran, Atiq Saab?
Absolutely, Barkha, and I would like to explain to them. They know it, but deliberately they are hiding this. See, Barkha, Indian Islam is basically a Sufi Islam. There is no scope of any orthodoxy as far as Islam is concerned in the Indian context. If I have to be orthodox, I have no place in India. Sufism has created ample scope. Now the question is, those who believe in not in Sufism, has the Quran created scope for them? Yes, Quran has created scope for them, and none other than the famous Sufi Mirza Mazhar Jani Janam has said that there are 124,000 apostles mentioned in the Quran. And if I count on my finger tips, I can have only 1,000, only 700 throughout the world. Where are 124,000 as mentioned in the Quran? And then Mirza Mother Jane Janan steps in saying that Lord Krishna and Lord Rama could be one of the apostles. This is the liberal Islam which the Quran quotes, Barkha. And maybe the deity which is there in Sabarimala can be one of them. So if there are prayers towards a Muslim this thing, I'd have no objection. The Quran is sanctioning that
Yeah.
scope for me.
Yeah, so we have. I think this is going to be one of those rare programs where all of our guests are going to agree with each other, which is quite refreshing to see. Atiq Saab, thanks for that point. In the meantime, can you remove your headphones because there's a little bit of crackle, but we heard you loud and clear. आप हटा ही दीजिए उनको, हटा दीजिए. Rahul, I want to bring you in here. As I said, you and I have argued over Sabarimala in a totally different context, right? And that's being reviewed by the Supreme Court. In this case, if both Atiq Saab and Dushyant say, Bhai, what is the problem? Then who has started this problem? Why is this story everywhere?
The
Rahul?
story, the controversy was started by a person called O. Abdullah. O. Abdullah ji is a bit a hardline Islamist, if I can use that word. See, this controversy exposes one very important aspect. And let me be happy pointing out, I have been in national media debating this topic. The only people who support O. Abdullah ji are the ultra right wingers from our Hindu community, because they are happy with O. Abdullah's statement. They don't like Hindu-Muslim bridges. They don't like Hindu-Muslim syncretism. And they are happy with the hardline Islamist narrative that O. Abdullaji is saying. And many people went to the extent of saying what he is saying is absolutely true. And that is the true Islam. Because they don't want any space of Hindu-Muslim unity. And let me point out, especially India needs to know this. I don't know how far you can see this. This is the Vavar Nada inside Sabarimala that Ayyappa consecrated for Vavar. And there is no idol kept. As the grandson of the Sabarimala supreme priest, when I was, my grandfather was a Sabarimala senior most supreme priest for the longest time. So when I went with him by the age of 6 or something, I asked him, there is no idol kept here. There is no Vigraha. There is no Sagunaradhana. And he told me that is another path. So when we decided to respect Vavar, or his name is Babar, which is in Malayalam Vavar, when we decided to respect Vavar, we decided to respect him in the way he wants. And inside the Ayyappa temple, let me point out, inside the Erimeli Ayyappa temple, there is a small shrine for Vavar, in which also no idol is kept. So this means not only tolerance, not only, I will somehow tolerate you. This is celebration of diversity. That means we accept monotheism, we accept polytheism, we accept pluralism, we accept pantheism, and there are different paths, and we should respect all paths. And Mammootty, as we all know, is Muhammed Kutty, coming from the Islamic background, Mohanlal being a Hindu background, and politically also Mohanlal is center-right leaning more towards the BJP, and Mammootty is more left towards the leftist parties. So they had such great friendship and brotherhood, because I personally know them both. Mohanlal calls Mammootty Ichaka. Ichaka roughly translates into elder brother. So they have such great warmth, and there were some reports, if I can be honest, there were some reports of initial stage of cancer. Absolutely nothing to worry for Mammootty, and Mohanlal decided that I want to pray for my brother. And today, people like Palayam Imam, Maulavis have come out in support of Mohanlal doing this. So there are fringe elements, and please remember, these fringe elements are not limited to Islam alone. We have fringe elements in Hindu community like the Edi Narasinghanan, the Sattvi Prachis. There are people, some maybe micro minority in Kerala, who are also offended because this thing happened. So please remember, we can be our own faith. We can be strongly faithful and yet secular or plural, whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely.
So this is the golden point that India has today.
But you paint such a romantic and happy picture of celebration, participation in each other's faiths. What do you say to Dushyant ji's slightly more cynical take about pre-film publicity?
See, no, I mean, maybe that can be an understanding outside, and Mohanlal doesn't need that publicity in Kerala, because Lucifer is such a big thing. Right now, I'm in Mumbai. Even the Mumbai, 2 or 3 malls are filled. So, maybe, Dushyant, who is a very revered Vedic scholar, may have, because he read that. So, but Mohanlal and Prithviraj doesn't need that. And one more important point is, this is the syncretic nature of both Hinduism and Islam. That means without diluting their monotheism, without diluting this monotheism framework is very important for our Christian brothers, our Jewish brothers, our Muslim brothers, believing in Allah, Yahweh and all. But we can respect that, and they can respect us. And that's the reason why inside the temple, there is no idol kept for Vavar, respecting the Islamic sentiments. And one more thing, Barkhaji, you will be surprised. No, this is not a romantic picture, because I was the chief guest in Vavar Swami's mosque, last year, where we have a Chandanapada Maholsava. See, it is so romantic. And many people, you will be surprised to know, when I highlight this point in media, some of our people get offended. They ask me, what is there to highlight? See, this is such a normal thing of ours, and they feel slightly offended that I keep on saying this in every debate. So they say it is so normal a part of our life for thousands of years. But I seriously believe, especially having visited various parts of India, India needs this kind of a synergy. You can call it Mahatma Gandhi, Maulana Abul Kalam synergy. You can call it Ayyappa Vavar synergy. Call it anything, but this synergy is, this synthesis is what we are needed.
So since we're all in agreement for once in our life, and I don't know when that moment will come again, what can we all learn from this in a political larger environment of our media channels, public debates, political debates, religious debates that otherwise are so polarizing? Dushyant, Sridhar, what is the lesson from this? Do you agree with what has been said here, that the fringe of all communities tend to feed off each other, and it suits the fringe of all communities to have these differences? So which is why Rahul is saying that this debate was started by Mr. O. Abdullah, who's a former editor in Kerala, and the only people supporting him are very fringe elements in the Hindu community. Even the Maulvis and the Maulanas have distanced themselves from his comments. What do you say, Dushyant?
Barkha, this is my general understanding, or probably this is my humble take on anything related to these matters. Because you will be aware, because you've been there in journalism for over 30, 40 years now. Day in and day out, there will be some topic, some debate in any one of the channels or all the channels, which is concerning religion in our Bharata Desha. My take will be to when politicians decide from BJP or Congress or any of these parties, they plan to take up a religious topic, a topic that concerns any religion, they'll have to be fair to all. That is point number one. And point number two, when this is a general take, when politicians decide to congratulate believers of a certain community on a certain festival, they should extend it to all communities. For example, I've told you this in one of my previous debates. The current sitting chief minister of Tamil Nadu participates in events that are concerning Iftar and Ramzan, congratulates Christians on Christmas, but never ever acknowledges Ganesh Chaturthi, Gokulashtami. You cannot say that you are a government that doesn't believe in religion. Then Christmas and Ramzan should also not be a part of your congratulatory note. Not once he wishes on Hindu festivals. Not that Hindus are going to get benefited because of his wishes, but just that I honestly feel, for that matter, even if Narendra Modi, to my knowledge, he does wish on Ramzan and Christmas. If he doesn't do that, I would urge him, because you are holding a post where you are meant for all, you wish all. So that is one. Second thing, concerning, I'm talking about the followers of all religions. Probably you should leave debates of matters of religion to those people who are read in those scriptures. Rather than people taking up to social media, some arbit person writing something and becoming a controversy. Rather, I would urge people from all religion. And one more thing, one last point, because you've got other participants. Every religion has one very divine part, Barkha, which we call it as revelation. Like how for the Hinduism, we believe that the Vedas were told to us through sound. So we don't believe it's authored. Appaurusheyam apivak prapanchehi. We don't believe that it is written by one person. It is a revelation. Later, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Vishnu Purana were all written. So it becomes very important that every religion takes up to certain reforms over some period of time. This applies to Islam as well. Yes, there were certain rigid rules during the 6th, 7th century. Now, when we come to the 21st century, I think certain rules should be relaxed, and such interpretations should be a part of the current day Quran, so that the current generation learns to be inclusive and tries to merge with the existing society rather than staying in silos. So these kind of controversies will come down the moment all religions agree that there is a reformation element. We cannot follow exactly word to word what is written in the time. So there has to be a consensus.
I think that's a very important point, Atiq or Rehman, that you said that it is a misinterpretation of the Quran. Anyone who's claiming that Mohanlal can't go and offer prayers for his Muslim friend at a Hindu shrine. I think what Dushyant Sridhar is saying is that any sort of codified book of religion needs to be interpreted in the context of the time. So literalism cannot do. And one of the mistakes I believe the Supreme Court made when it came to the Sabarimala debate, for example, and Rahul may or may not agree with me, is that the court got into the business of defining what is an essential practice of a religion. Now, how you interpret what is an essential practice of a religion, I think what Dushyant Sridhar is saying is a dynamic idea. It is going to change with time, because we don't actually know the mind of somebody who context changes, history changes, culture changes, and religion adapts. And it happens the world over. Look at the Pope. The Pope has allowed for so many changes that once upon a time would have been considered impossible in Christianity. What do you say, Atiq Sab?
Barkha, you will have to agree that in India, the scope which Islam should have got, as Maulana Abul Kalam Azad once said, that the cultural ideas of Islam and Hinduism do not, get the ample scope in the light of new discoveries in the world. I would like to just give you a small example. You will have to agree, Barkha, that we Indians are rigid more when it comes to religion. We do not have ample scope of, allowing our people to interact with each other. And we are also not evolving ourselves. My grandmother Barkha used to tell me when I was quite young that जब कभी एक काफिर के जनाजे को देखो, उसकी मैयत को देखो, तो फिनारे जहन्नम कहो, यानी ये जहन्नम की आग में जलेंगे. I used to say this whenever I used to see a non-Muslim Hindi this thing going. I used to say finare jahannam. My same grandmother, when she expired, and we were taking her to the graveyard, I saw Barkha, every Hindu, every Sikh from their cars, from their trucks, they were giving all the due respect to the janaza of my grandmother. When I saw this, I was amazed. And from that day, I stopped saying Finare Jahannam to my Hindu brethren. We have to evolve, Barkha. We have to educate ourselves. We have to give ample scope to the other religious beliefs. And that is missing in our society. And politicians are taking ample advantage of this.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. I think it's a very honest admission that you were brought up on an idea of who is a kafir and how that kafir should be treated, and then your own experience of how other faiths responded when your grandmother died changed your mind to it. I think that takes some very candid admission there. Rahul, Eashwar, your response.
Barkhaji, like Dushyantji brilliantly said, in spaces like Tamil Nadu, we suffered. We, to be more precise, Hindus and Brahmins suffered because of the anti-Brahmin and anti-Hindu mindset. Our politicians needs to change from all parties. Not that the Yadi Narasimhanans are right. Every person who dismisses any religion should be discouraged. And this is Stalin's wife, Durga Stalin, who was in Guruvayur offering a 1.5 million gold crown to Guru Ayappa. So many times politicians use these narratives to build their base, rile up their base in one way or the other. Even in their families, there are believers. Second, the solution ahead is more synergy. The solution is Mahatma Gandhi, because people like him brought active synergy. See, the angle of secularism alone won't do, because secularism is not strong a paradigm to hold the entire Indian diversity. That's the reason why Gandhiji used to call it Sarva Dharma Samabhav. Vivekananda used to call it people, any faith you can go to God. So this kind of a recalibration is needed. And let me be very honest, this is what the world needs. See, this is what makes India Vishwaguru. This is what makes, inside Hindu community, you have those people who, disrespect the temple. You have those people, for example, people in Arya Samaj, they don't agree with the temple rituals at all. They don't agree with the idol worship. And the irony is, in many temples, you have to get the Arya Samaj certificate to get in as a Hindu. So our Hindu community is a beautiful garden of contradictions. So, let us that celebrate that divorce in a positive way without hurting anyone, and let us bring together these elements. And I strongly believe that Kerala model, and one more thing, Chairman Mosque, this is also something people everywhere should know. We take great pride in saying that the third oldest mosque after the holy Mecca and Medina is a Chairman Mosque in Kerala, where our Chera king went to Mecca to meet holy Mecca to meet Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he came back. We have perhaps the oldest church in the world, the oldest Christian church, 400 years before Pope and Papacy, we have in Kerala. And I was recently invited to Israel. I went there as a delegation, and we have, even from before the AD started, we have Jews here. So a model of syncretism, a model of harmony. It is not to say that Kerala is perfect. Kerala has many other issues. Yes, but Kerala is very good in harmony, and this Kerala model should be inspiring India, because this is essentially the Indian culture of celebration of all faiths.
Yeah, and I was going to say maybe that's why it's called God's own country, as the way you described it. But let's take last comments. Atiq Sahab, I'll start with you. Mohanlal praying for Mammootty is a good example, but a closer example is the Indian Army. I always give this example because I've reported on the military so often. I have seen regiments where a Muslim officer, if he's the commanding officer, he will do the arti. I have seen a Hindu commanding officer offering namaz. There are mandir, masjid, gurdwara sthals. There are multi-faith places of religion. So we need to learn and we need to evolve. And how do we shut down, rigid people, fringe elements across communities?
Barkha, I think the primary objective of a society to evolve not only comes from the people at large, but the people in power. Today, the representatives we are electing, they are taking all the charges. Barkha, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the political class has taken all the charge of, trying to convey the message to the society that they are the owners of every faith, whether Muslims or Hindus or Sikhs or otherwise. So this muddies the water. As far as Mumbai is concerned, Barkha, you must be knowing we are celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, as Dushyant pointed out. I think he was having some doubts regarding to Ganesh Chaturthi. Long
No,
back,
he was talking
Dushyant
about
ji.
the chief. He was talking about Stalin. He was saying if you're in public life, you either
Okay.
congratulate people or for all. Not that he was not having doubts about you participating in Ganesh Chaturthi.
Okay, fine. I heard it wrong.
Okay.
So we are celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi. We are celebrating Muharram. We are having Mohalla committees. I was very young, Barkha, when my father was invited to the Ganesh Chaturthi festival, and we were the VIPs on the front sofa, doing all the aartis and doing all the pujas. So that is the missing link today. I do not find any now Muslim people who are, even if they are politically motivated people taking charge of these, social things. Otherwise, it was a practice in Mumbai, and after Kerala, I would say it should be Bombay and Mumbai which should set the examples for, syncretic culture for India.
Let me give Dushyant Sridhar the last word on that. I think tolerance is a terrible word. I have come to hate it because it suggests a kind of, we're just about tolerating each other. There is no participation. There is no respect for each other's faiths. And I think the point is the less government we have in the management of religion, the better it is, because politicians are only going to, I know this is a pet issue for you, but I'm making it for all religions. I think get government out of religion. What is government going to do in religion? Government's job, the state's job is to safeguard individual rights, safeguard community rights, ensure equality. I don't see how the government should be involved in the management of religion of any community, because politics will follow. I'm giving you the last word. Atiq or Rehman says, stop the ghettos. We go for Ganesh Chaturthi. You please come for Eid. You meaning not you, Dushyant, but people should participate in each other's festivals. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Barkha. I do echo most thoughts of what Atiq ji said and Rahul ji said, most of their thoughts. And of course, see, you rightly put the word that it's not about tolerance, because tolerance is a word that, okay, main sahan lunga. I will, it's mutual respect.
Correct.
But I also feel you did make a point about governments, both center or state, exiting those places of worship because government doesn't have any role. See, it just boils down to one point. The largest of the temples, the biggest of the temples, 36,000 of them are managed by the Tamil Nadu government. And no mosque, no church, they don't come. And it's been a fight for so many activists for the last so many years, going court hearing after hearing to just say that governments, we don't need you. We can manage. Yes, there will be issues, we'll manage. But that's not happening. And if at all, I have to say that the Hindu community only has to complain about it. Because as such, the gurudwaras, the churches, and the mosques are all not managed by the government at all. There's a Hindu HRNCE in Tamil Nadu. I don't know if there is any equivalent anywhere else. And all the revenues and everything, the land is being managed, it's being mishandled. So rightfully, as you put it, the government should exit. But, it's easier said than done. They will cite 10 other reasons. I don't know when this is going to happen. When that day probably happens, and like how Atiq ji and Rahul ji put it, like mutual respect for each other happens, I'm sure all our debates will have different topics rather than these Mohanlal is praying for Mammootty.
I will only say that as I end, that it is very nice for once. This day doesn't come often, that everybody agrees. Everybody agrees. I think we've agreed literally on everything today, including wanting government out of religion, politicians out of religion. and participating in each other's lives as opposed to simply tolerating each other. Thank you, gentlemen, to Dushyant, Sridhar, to Rahul, Eashwar, to Atiq, Rehman. Thank you. Take care and see you soon.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.